longer.
No. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my new radio show called Out of Nowhere, where we talk about all different things: the paranormal, the cryptics, psychic mediums, werewolves, haunted. It just goes on and on and on. But today we've got a fabulous guest from America. Her name is Valentina Marie. She's a psychic medium. Um, she'll tell us her story. She's moved around the world. She's been in Sweden, lived in Alaska. She's now in California. She's been quite a few different places, but all will revealed on the show today. Can we please welcome Valentino to the show? Hello there.
Hi, hello. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Denmark, and I have lived in fact in Alaska and Switzerland and all over California. And actually, I am settled down currently in Florida. And we're having hurricane season, so it's a bit shaky at the moment. You never know if something's going to hit, and this will continue till November, so you're just kind of living on the edge all day long, waiting, watching the weather, watching the apps, watching the sky. Just make sure that you don't have to hunker down to be stuck inside.
I can imagine so. You know, what made you move around? Was it your family what were moving around, or you wanted to move?
I was quite small at the time, so it was more my family. My mother, she just liked to kind of go all over the planet. And I also have to thank my mother for really just opening me up to many cultures. And um, she just wanted me to experience the world and see a lot of different things and cultures. So I attribute a lot of that to her.
Oh, that's so nice. You're doing that as well. There's lots of things happened to you as well. Um, uh, Growing up, a little when you first. How did you get into being a psychic? Have you always been able to see things?
No, actually not. I pretty much had a normal life growing up. I mean, normal. I was a model. I was a child model. I did a lot of modeling in LA, was all over TV and stuff like that. And then somewhere along the line, at age, I guess I was 23 when it happened, I had a traumatic brain injury from a fall, and that seemed to trigger all my gifts. And then I didn't really use them for quite some time because I didn't really know what was happening to me. And then fast forward to 2015 when I suddenly lost my father, and then 2 weeks later lost my mother. It really put everything in perspective, because it's like, oh my gosh, there went my entire family. And I became very obsessed with wanting to communicate with my mother. And then I realized that I could hopefully take the pain away from myself if I helped other people and became that communicator for, the deceased. So everything kind of, eventually took its journey to where I am now. But it wasn't something I ever thought about. I had barely heard about what a psychic was. I didn't come from a long line of psychics or anything like that. So it just sort of found me.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you. Does it run in the family, or was your grandma?
No,
Not at
like
all.
we just never even talked about things like that. It wasn't like, oh, hey, by the way, I've got these gifts. You might get them. Nothing ever happened. There was a story once my mother told me weird things would happen in our house because sometimes as a child she would be left home alone. And she said sometimes the chairs would stack up on top of each other on the table. So
Oh
that
my
to
God.
me I know. I'm like, lucky her. She got to have some poltergeist activity. But other than that, I mean, everybody, my mother was studying to be a doctor and on her way to do that in med school, and my grandmother was a homemaker. So nobody really had the gifts but me. So I was like the beginning of that. I know my son has empath, kind of gifts, but and I can feel him, and we can kind of feed off each other's emotions and feel
I was
each
going to
other.
say that. Does he
Yeah,
sometimes know? Does he sometimes know what you're going to say? Can he read your mind?
he can pick up, like, if something's going on with him, I'll text him, and hey, are you okay? I sent something's off today. And so we're really good at that, and he can pick up if he said something that hurt me, or we're very emotional towards each other. So I think maybe I was the beginning of the gift lineage now, because my son has abilities, but I don't think he's interested in using them, and I don't blame him. It's a lot.
Exactly, because sometimes you don't want to follow your parents into like you're doing. It's like because people don't realize, but you have to work. You know,
It is.
you've got
It
to
is work.
you've got to make a living out of it, and people don't realize that. So you might be doing it 7 days a week, and you
Yeah.
think, "Oh, I have a bit of time for myself sometimes."
And that's the thing. Sometimes I just literally have to just block out the calendar for a bit and have some time to myself, because I mean, people are calling me at midnight. I've even done readings when I've been in the ER and in hospital from my hospital bed. Sometimes the nurses find out I'm a medium, and suddenly I'm reading the nurses, and I'm like, "Hey, I have IVs in my arm. What about me?" like, like nobody even cares. They're so excited, and then I end up doing a reading for the nurse, and then she goes and tells more nurses, and then the next thing, my room is full of nurses. But
I
no,
understand that as well.
it can be just like it's so I am picky as to who I tell what I do, because it's like, oh, um some people, I mean, most people are respectful, but sometimes people, in the grocery store are like,
Take
oh,
advantage.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind doing it for my girlfriends. They're like, oh, V, what do you think I should do? And I'm happy that they trust me. But yeah, this is a full-time job. Even when you're not working, you're working, you know?
Yes, because you might go out for a coffee, like you say, and
Yeah.
somebody who you might know say, "Oh, just got into this relationship. What do you think?" You think,
I
"Oh
did
my
that.
god, I
Oh
can't
my God.
believe it."
I did that once. I was at a cafe down the street, and I started talking to this elderly gentleman, and all of a sudden I said, "Oh my God, your wife, she's with the dog, and she says she loves you." And he just broke out crying, and I said, "I'm sorry, I should have told you what I do," but she was pushing through, and he was like, "No, no, no, it's okay, thank you so much." And I just thought, oh my God, who else would have this kind of life where you're just like talking to random strangers and suddenly delivering messages? So, even though I was trying to have a cup of coffee, but it just, his wife used that opportunity to talk to him. So it was nice. I Now we've become friends from it. So
How how did you cope being a child star then, a model? Was it your mum what pushed you into it, or did you get involved with it?
So yes, that's a good question. So as a child model, the magazine found me. I was walking down the street with my mom, and they came up and get their card and said, "Oh, we would love to have your daughter." I was only 1.5, in the magazine, and my mother was like, "No, I don't know about that." They kept calling and harassing her, so finally she gave in. I ended up on a cover. 6 months later, on another cover, and then at age 2 on another cover. So I ended up doing 3 covers for the magazine. They loved me, and this is the 60s, where it's still, racism is still kind of touchy, but
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
was mixed, I think they were open to it, and a little bit more open. But I was very popular, and I thought, well, that's kind of neat, but I obviously I didn't know what I was doing at that age. I just know there was a lot of people around and lights, and there was a big fuss about me. And so I dropped it obviously after those three covers, and then at age 14 I picked it up again, and then I pursued it. Once I knew what it was about, then I started, pursuing it more. And
Did you
then
travel? Did you travel all over America then?
yes, a lot of stuff luckily was in Los Angeles, so I didn't have to go places really. There was a couple times I was flown to St. Croix and some other places, tropical places. Of course, they're always fun, but a lot of stuff was done in the studios in Hollywood or on, whatever location in Malibu, on the beach, Beverly Hills. So I know that town like the back of my hand. You get to know especially when there's traffic, you have to, every little back alley and, ways around the traffic. And so you get really good at taking side streets and you end up odd places, but you really get to know LA
Yeah.
from a different point. But it's been a fun ride. I eventually retired probably, I think I was 40 when I retired from modeling, which is kind of old, to keep going. And I always wondered how long would I keep pushing, or how long would it continue before people were like, okay, you're old. So
Oh,
at 40, I was finally old.
oh my God. You still look fabulous.
Thank you. I'm 58.
You look good. You look good.
I stay out of
I'd
the
like
sun.
to I'd like to ask you about your freak accident. What happened there then?
Yeah, so aside from the brain injury that happened, right? That's not the one you're talking about. The other thing with the electrocution.
Yeah, as well as you've had lots of different things happen to you.
I've been tested. I don't know, I'm like Frankenstein. So obviously the brain injury kicked in all these gifts, and then as if that wasn't enough, one day I went to the chiropractor, and you know how they put the little TENS unit on your back,
Yeah.
to give you a little shock in the muscles. So I wasn't feeling much. So he ended up turning it all the way to 100, which is really unheard of. That's like all the way up. But you're supposed to turn it down in increments before you turn it all the way off to, like, let the electricity kind of simmer down. So obviously with it being that high, the guy got lazy and just went from 100 to 0. He just turned it right off.
Oh my God.
And I thought, wait a minute. And I felt something in my back. And I was like, and he hurried me out of the room. So I get home and I'm sitting on, the old fashioned computer with a big big box.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Box aside, yeah.
Yeah. And so my knee touches the box while I'm typing. And all of a sudden I felt like, I can only describe it as 1,000 bees inside my rib cage trying to get out.
Oh God.
If you can imagine that. And then I felt the back of my back, and it was wet, and I thought, what is going on? So I ran into the toilet, I looked in the mirror, and there was a big charred circular mark on my back. It was all wet and gooey, from where that little sticker had been from the TENS unit. And then there was a burn mark on the back of my chair. So basically what I figured out happened was all the electricity got trapped in my body. It got released when my knee touched the computer thing.
Yeah.
And then it shot out of my back. So, I mean, can you imagine walking around with all this electricity in you, and maybe, you take a bath. I was thinking about taking a bath. My heart could have stopped. I mean, there's so many things could have been horribly wrong. So then I tried to go after the company and sue them. And I'm not a sue happy person, but I was like, look, you need to train people on the machine. This could hurt somebody. This is ridiculous. And, they never responded back. I guess I should have got an attorney or whatever, but I just let it go because I was just like, but I told my friend, I said, you know what, you need to train your people at the office. You can't just turn it down to 0 like that. And he goes, well, I'm going to fire the guy. I said, no, please don't do that. It's Christmas. The guy has a baby. I felt like don't do this. Just reprimand him, just tell him you can't do this. but I didn't want the guy fired or anything. I mean, this is terrible. It was just literally a freak accident.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
But I
But
noticed, yeah, I noticed after that I would walk under street lamps, and lights would flicker, lights were flickering around me. It was really
oh,
weird. Like it
oh,
was almost like it was responding to me or something. So yeah. So that was
does,
the
does it still happen now then?
Yeah, I still not as much, but I do see a lot of electrical things happen, and it's hard to tell if that's me doing it or if it's a ghost trying to, connect with me and get my attention. But in the beginning, there was a lot of just, I mean, I do feel like electrical things sometimes, and so definitely something is going on. Hopefully, most of it is out of my body, but um, that was definitely unexpected and, just another freak accident. I hope that's really the last of the freak accidents.
Yeah, because it seems to happen to you, doesn't it?
I am a glutton for punishment. Wow, I was like, I mean, even just the brain injury alone is like, I didn't expect that to do what it did and do as much damage as it did, which is why I tell people, be careful, wear a helmet. The brain, the head is nothing to mess with. It isn't as as
It's,
sturdy as we think. It's kind of fragile.
it is. So you can soon crack your head open
Yeah,
completely.
yeah, and
It's
then
true.
and then the after effects of the delayed responses, the electrical nerves, everything, motor skills, it definitely did a number. I mean, it did a number on me for sure. So, but I'm grateful, because obviously it triggered my gifts, and I'm happy now that I'm in a place where I use the gifts. I'm ready for them. But it was a long journey to get to this point, over 30 years of just dealing with the whole thing.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're giving readings, and sometimes after you think, "My, that was good. I felt good today." Everything seemed to go smoothly, and everybody enjoyed what I was giving them. Don't you
Yes.
think so? Don't you think? Where did all that come from then? Was it a download I was given to give especially to a certain person?
Yeah, I love that you use the word download, because it kind of is, I'm kind of a computer. I mean, there are some days, and it's very rare because I do try to work really hard for my client. But I mean, there's some days where I'm like, wow, this was so good. The client's happy, I'm happy. The Because sometimes I lock on to, to the deceased, and they're really talkative and they're getting good validation, and it's going well, they know how to do this. And then sometimes it's like pulling teeth, and I don't always get a lot of information, and they're not very talkative, and then I'm kind of bummed out because I expect a lot, because I'm pretty tough on myself. But that's just how it is, and then I feel like, oh, the client, I don't know if the client was happy, they were kind of quiet. Sometimes
Yeah, but sometimes I think if it's quiet, it's because they're not concentrating as well.
yeah,
I think some people can be very negative, and you
yeah,
think, well, why? You feel as though you want to say to them, "Why can't you take that?" But I always say to them, "Look, think about it later. When you
that's what
make,
I say.
when you get home, when you
Yeah.
sit down, you'll say to me, you'll say, I can. What she told me was right now."
And that's what I do. I always tell people, don't beat yourself up over it. I said, and I always urge my clients, keep in touch, text me if something makes sense. And then they'll get home and talk to other people and go, oh my God, I know what this means now. And I said, okay, see, I'm not crazy. It's just also, if the sitter is not always getting everything like this, then we kind of have a disconnect. Or I feel the sitter is skeptic, which kind of adds a blockage, because then they're already sitting there with this kind of negative attitude, like, I don't know if this is real. You kind of have to give in and accept and believe it is real, so the flow of things is going well. But yeah, it just varies, but I like getting updates because that helps me know that I wasn't crazy, but it just took a while. It took a while for the person to figure out what I was talking
Don't,
about.
don't you think it's a fine line between people have got psychic problems. I won't call them mentally problems now.
Yeah.
I think people are. It's a fine line from people who have problems in later in life and being a psychic medium. It's a very because they hear voices themselves, tell them to
Yes.
do things or whatever. But what we get, we translate it into words where we can give it to other people.
Right, and that I love that you said that. Because it is, so then I start thinking, well, are homeless people that are running around talking to themselves psychic? Maybe, it's not drugs. Maybe they really are getting messages. Maybe it's the wrong kind of message. It's not from the light, but I do feel someone is talking to them. Maybe not the best vibrational people, but and so yeah, it is, because I mean, you have to be so right in the head to understand that you're not crazy as a psychic, and trust that the information you're getting is 100% pure. And the way I know that is because I'm usually on my own thought path, and then something comes in out of the blue. I'm like, I was thinking about buying butter at the store. So here comes someone saying something I know is not me. So here we go. So that's how I know, because I really know what I'm thinking at all times. I'm very sharp, focused.
Yeah. I was just going to say, anybody in the chat room got any questions for Valentina? Because it's always nice to have, for me, for somebody else to ask her a question as well. What
Yeah.
about what about the afterlife? How do you see that?
Oh,
Tell us a
that
little
is
bit more
a
about.
loaded question. The afterlife, well, because people ask me, V, where's hell? Is there hell? Is there heaven? To me, in my personal opinion, we already are in hell. And I mean that we walk around with our own personal hell. If you have turmoil and things, that is your own personal hell. There's no red guy with a fork and flaming house or anything like that. Um, you create your own hell, and you can also remove your own hell. But then after you die, you're only going to go up in a wonderful, loving space. There is no choice of hot or cold, so to speak. You will only go up. Um, so the afterlife is a wonderful thing. You shouldn't be afraid of it, but you shouldn't also speed it up. Like, we should go when it's our time, for sure.
Yes, I agree with that as well. I think about going to the afterlife is it's when you go over, there's
Yeah.
something you get met by your family, and you get my recently I got involved with the psychic surgeon,
Oh, cool.
and I went to see him for some healing, and what a great guy he turned out to be. And I said to him, he said his name was Tony. Anyway, I went to his house, and his wife met me at the door. We went inside, and she said, "Oh, this is Tony." Anyway, he went into trance and everything. Anyway, she said, "Got any questions?" So I'm asking her all these questions, and he just opened his eyes. He went, "My name is John. I'm a psychic surgeon.
Yeah.
I'm from the other side. Transformed when they go over. I am waiting for them in an hospital." And I
Wow.
went, "All right, right." And he said, "Yeah," he's telling me this story about how he works and everything. And anyway, give me some healing, and it was marvelous. It was really fabulous what he did to me,
Wow.
even just touching you.
Yeah,
And I thought, I'm glad I came. I was meant to go see him
absolutely. The
to
timing.
learn a little bit more about what a psychic surgeon actually does. Because you hear all these stories about all these fake ones
Yeah.
wherever you go around the world where they'll take money off you for. And I said, "How much is that?" After a bit, he went, "Nothing. Didn't cost you a bean." He
Oh,
said, "You're friends with my wife." So she was on She was on the show last week because
How?
she's a psychic medium.
Yeah.
And she said, no, don't cost you a penny.
Oh,
But if you have any problems, because he told me to get up and walk around. And how do you feel now? I said, fabulous, absolutely amazing.
wow.
You hear all these stories, don't you?
Yeah.
And do you believe in them or not? And I think you've got to be positive you've got to be in a positive mind when you go as well. It's not being negative, saying he can't do that. How's he going to do
Exactly.
that?
Exactly.
How's he going to make me feel better in myself?
Yeah, it's true.
And he said he worked in an hospital from when people pass over, they go into this hospital and I make them feel better.
Yeah,
Right, we've got a question from Rebecca.
I see it. Oh, I
Hi,
love
Van.
pops up here. Hi, Rebecca. Okay. Do you want me to read it out loud or?
Apart from the residue energy sighting, why do people just randomly see ghosts and why are they here? Thank you.
Okay. Well, the random part of why people randomly see ghosts, first of all, the random part, I mean, I have to see if it's people that randomly see ghosts or ghosts randomly just pop up. I will answer both. Usually ghosts are stuck here. They have already passed, but they are the soul has separated, but it's almost like, when you have a outline of the Polaroid picture and it's slowly developing. So ghosts, the human part has died, the soul is separated, but there's like the outline of the body still here, like a vapor. It should have fully passed, however it didn't, so they get stuck here. At that point you need to find somebody either to cross them over, because they shouldn't be here. It's not really great to have grandfather walking around. As much as we want to have grandfather walking around, we should only sense him in spirit and as a soul. We should not be visually seeing him. That means he's stuck and he needs to go and
Yeah.
separate from this earth. We always, like, as much as ghost hunting is fun and everything like that, after all that is said and done, we do want to make sure that these people get to where they're going, or they just continue to permanently roam around here lost, and they don't know that they're dead. A lot of the times they continue doing what they used to do, which is very habitual, because they don't know they're dead and they're just kind of wandering around, and that's a miserable feeling, yeah. So
Yeah, it is.
why they're here. Yeah, so I hope that answered the question, Rebecca.
I'm sure it will do. Yeah. Yeah. I know when you work 7 days a week, does it drain you? It's like a battery. Sometimes you must get drained.
Yeah, it's weird, because sometimes if it's a really good reading and I've been vibrating so high up, I tend to be super hyper. It takes me a while to come back down. So I'm talking really super fast. I'm all amped up. And then eventually I kind of get back to earth and I start slowing down and vibrating slower. And then sometimes it can just be really, really draining if I'm really connecting, or I did a lot of talking that day or many readings that day. On the weekends, I generally just, as soon as Friday comes and I'm done, I just want to put some jammies on and just sit in bed. I have a lot of ideas of what I want to do, but I end up sitting in the bed all weekend in jammies. And then sometimes people want, texted readings or phone call readings or whatever, and I'll just do them from my bed in my jammies, because I'm not even in the. It's rare, but I'm learning to nurture myself more and give myself.
You've got to do. I think you've got to look after. You've got to look after yourself as well, because you don't want to. Some people get. I'm not saying spirits can stop you. Sometimes they can put a block on you if you're doing far too much. It's just to tell you to slow down.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Whenever I get sick, like I was sick last week when I was supposed to do the podcast, and I had to reschedule. And it just happens. And before I used to just sit there and work through being sick. And then now I realize, you know what? Your guides are giving you a break by allowing you to be sick. And that sickness is for you to slow down for a bit and then recover and, rest your DNA. And then you can go back to work. So I embrace now when I get sick. That sounds odd, but
Rebecca's just saying that makes so much sense. Thank you very much.
yes, you're welcome,
Do you
Rebecca.
think anybody could be a psychic medium?
Okay. I'm really big into the meaning of words, so I'm going to break that down. Anybody could be anything, honestly. We could all be astronauts, we could all be psychics, but the thing about being a psychic, we all have the gift within us. But if we were all running around being psychic, then there's no astronauts, there's no bakers, there's no policemen. So I didn't choose it chose me. I never sat there and said, oh, let me look for a new career. I would be happily doing something else, but this is what I realize I have the resilience and the strength to do. It isn't for everyone, I will say that. If you're looking for a career, probably find something that has set hours and something a lot less draining. But I encourage people, if they want to learn it and do it for their friends and family or for themselves. But it is a very, it's 24/7, it's 365, there's no on and off for it. It is very draining. It's very rewarding. However, there's a lot of pressure because aside from being a medium, I'm also a psychic and I work to fix people's lives. Within 30 minutes, they dump their whole life on my desk and I have to sit there and fix it. And there's a lot of pressure, especially when you're giving advice and people are going to go do this. So it's a lot of pressure, and that's probably why I have so many migraines because I am in my head all the time. And I work really hard because I want the best for my clients. I love them all so much, and they keep coming back year after year. And I help them work through their life, and I love doing that.
What's it like in America being a psychic medium? Because like in the UK, we've always got churches in nearly every town where people can learn platform work, or they can sit in a circle and learn all about.
I need to come over there.
Learning to meditate and things like that. What's it like? Because there's lots of Christianity over there, isn't there?
Yeah, especially, when I lived in Los Angeles, that's like probably New York and Los Angeles in America are the most hippest states. Anything else after that gets kind of, very backwards, very traditional. Moving over here to Florida, to the East Coast now, which is more the southern states, it's very southern, very religious, very judgmental at times. And I've gotten in some arguments with people on the way to the grocery store because I have, my name on the side of my car. And they're like, oh, who are you answering to? You're doing the devil's work. Da, da, da. And I said, you know what? The devil can't even afford me. That's my answer. That's my answer. But, most people are open to it. But there's a lot of Catholic people around here, in the Hispanic and Latin community. But the weirdest thing is, I've had Jewish people come to me, Catholic people come, Hindu, Indian. So even Muslim people have come. So even if they do come from a very strict background, at some point they get so desperate that they're reaching out to me, which I love that because religion should not play into what I do,
No.
It's very natural and spiritual, so all should come to me and just put the worry of who's gonna, sometimes they have to be secret when they come here and they didn't tell anyone they were coming. And I thought that's kind of sad that that they have to be so secretive about coming for help.
Do you think it'll ever change in America then?
I think, with the emergence of, Long Island Medium and Tyler Henry, and some of the other psychics on the TV show, I think that the shows have definitely helped people be more open to it. America is going through a lot more spirituality because, unfortunately, we're not going to get into the president. I can't vote for him anyway. But I noticed that people are so lost in America now and they don't know where to turn. I mean, we've got the world's worst president, or they do. He's not my president. And so people are starting to turn to spirituality and yoga and meditation because people are very anxious and anxiety ridden here. The vibe in America is very tense. Luckily, I live in a bubble, so I don't watch the news. I have no idea what's going on, and I like it that way because it's very tense, and so people need somewhere else to get answers. They're starting to meditate, crystals, yoga, and I love seeing this awakening of just going with the truth, finding that truth, really searching inside yourself, connecting with the universe. It's a beautiful time, I think, amidst the chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've just gone through all that here as well. We've it's been conservative for 14 years, something like that, and the Labour have got in now. They give all these promises what they're going to do, and then they've only been in 3 weeks and changed it all completely.
Yeah.
And so we've had it all here as well. Yeah, I've got another one from Rebecca, a good one.
Oh, okay.
Has anything come through that was? Yeah, I'll say. Has anything come through that was negative, but you were not sure of the source?
That was not negative, or was negative, or not negative?
Not negative, but you were not sure of the source, where it came from. I think she means to say.
Oh, okay. Has anything come through that was not negative and not true? I want to make sure I get the question right. Not negative, so something positive coming through, but I didn't know where the source. Yeah, that happens quite a bit because my mind is kind of split into two. A little side for my thoughts, and then I leave this side open for everyone else on the other side, or my guides. So there's often a lot of chatting going on, and then I stop what I'm doing and go, okay, who was that? What am I? So sometimes it's frustrating because I might be asleep and I get information, and then I wake up and I start writing, and I'm like, who is this? Who is this for? You didn't let me know. And so then I feel really like my hands are tied because I got all this juicy information, but I don't know where it was supposed to go. So then it's just written on a piece of paper. Sometimes I put it on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I remember once I got a message about a flight, that something was going to be bad on the flight. And I didn't know who it was for. So I just posted it on Facebook. If anyone's going on a flight here that has blonde hair and just beware. That's all I could do, just kind of put it out there and see if but it's obviously going to be someone that's been in contact with me, or someone I know, or one of my clients. It does happen. So yes.
I think sometimes if you're giving a reading to some brain, you think, oh God, I can't say that because it's them, and you try and put it in another way.
That happens a lot.
It can be difficult, can't it?
Absolutely, because I sit there and I'm like, and I tell them first off the bat, I tell them right off, I'm just the messenger. Don't hate me. I have a duty to report everything, good or bad. I am a very honest psychic, and I think all my clients appreciate that because, again, I am just the messenger. It's not always what people want to hear, but it's what they need to hear.
Yeah, I know it is.
And that's the part. I think that you have to teach people that, hey, I had once a girl, she came and her boyfriend had blocked her, deleted her, moved on, dating another girl. And she comes and she goes, okay, so how do you feel? Can I get him back? And I said, no. And then she goes, okay, well, can you check the cards? So I said, okay, well, I don't normally do cards. I laid it out. The first card said no with an exclamation point. So then she goes, "Can you text some more cards?" And I said, "You know what? We're done here. You're not getting the message. He's clearly moved on."
Yeah.
I said, "Please don't call me again." She had been before me, she'd been to another psychic and they'd said no, and another psychic. And I said, "When is it?" Some people, I feel my job is to tell them, "Look, you need to stop. You're
I
not
think
getting the message." At that point, I think that, I don't want to say delusional, but short of finding a better word, you
oh
know,
God, yeah. I think in them circumstances, you've just got to tell them straight away. No,
yeah.
it's not going to work out. Whatever happens, if you got him back, he would do it again.
Right. I mean, things end for a reason. So to sit there and think that there's hope, well, he's my soulmate. Oh my God, we have to be together. I said, now you're starting to sound a little scary,
Yeah.
because you cannot force someone that doesn't, it's two-sided. So usually people like that, once I see that there's just no talking to them, then I'm like pretty much done with them, and wish them well, because
Exactly.
no matter what I
Yeah.
said, it's never going to be good enough. So why are we wasting everyone's time? We're done.
True. Yeah. I know I was going to ask you. Right.
You forgot.
If somebody was going into modeling career, what advice would you give them?
Oh, I love that. I had somebody ask that on the plane once. So I was sitting next to their little daughter. Um, First and foremost, you want to always make sure that if you go to a modeling agency to see if they want to take you on, you want to go to accredited modeling agency. No agent online or anywhere should ask for any money until you get signed, and then it's normally 10 or 50, between 10 to 20%, depending on you know the job, 10
Oh,
to
you were.
20%, yeah, of your work. Once you get paid, they'll take that cut. But anything like that, if they try to make you go with their photographers first, say, "I'll be back, I'm going to go get a photographer, shoot some pictures," and then that's the biggest thing, because I find so many people go to just anywhere, or some scammy kind of agency, and then they pay all these thousands of dollars, and they're still not working, because some agents just take anyone on. Realistically, they shouldn't take you on unless you have potential, and they know that they're going to make money and you're going to be successful. So that's
Yeah,
definitely.
because I presume there'd be a lot of people out. Yeah, there'd be a lot of people out there will tag you on and tag you on until they drain your money.
Yeah, and then you haven't. I mean, I've heard of people being signed and they paid all this money and they've never gotten one job in a whole year. So that to me is a red flag. So you want to look out for anything if it sounds too bad, and you should always look at um, the clients that they've had, the companies they've worked with. If you're in the agency, you should look at the wall and see the quality of models they have. And you'll be able to tell if it looks scammy. And I have been in scammy agencies where I just walked right out and I said nope. Or modeling agencies will contact me. I just got one last week in an email, and they're like, "Oh, we want to pay you $4,000, but then you're going to send us back the $1,000, and then we're going to pay you another 2,400 once you finish the job." And I'm like, "What is all this money going back and forth? This sounds ridiculous." So I went and looked at their website. It was one page. There was nothing else. It was all like pictures they'd taken off the internet to make fake models, and so I reported them. But you just have to be aware and be smart, and especially if you have a child, because my child used to model, and I went everywhere on all the gigs with my little 2-year-old son. I wasn't the nightmare mother, but I was always there close by to make sure
Good,
that and
good.
you have to protect, especially children models.
Be
They have a
protected.
right. Yes, be protective, be there at all the gigs. Absolutely, in this day and age, you have to be so protective of your child.
Rebecca's asking a question.
Oh,
You might be able to do this. Valentina or Bob, I hope this is okay to ask. Do either of you feel my sister is with us tonight? Thank you in advance.
okay. I'm just gonna write some stuff down real quick here, and um,
Yeah, that's
okay.
okay.
Um, Okay. I'm just okay. Okay. Okay, you can tell me if any of this makes sense, Rebecca. Immediately, I was being shown a similar face, which means there was similar facial features, or you might have looked not necessarily identical, but close in face. I feel that you guys were about, I'm going to say, 1 to 2 years apart. You feel fairly close in age by just a few years. Um, I am seeing a brunette, and then she was showing me something about dressing, wearing little dresses, but you're very small dresses and playing outside. Let me know if you can take any of that or if it makes sense.
I'm sure she will get back to us.
Okay, yes, get back.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, I feel as though she's around you. She's
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah,
and the answer for that is yes as well.
and I feel as though you can feel her sometimes at home. She's touching your head and making you. And I've got a dog coming round you as well. What's brushing the side of your legs? I'm going to say a poodle, but I don't know. It's white in colour, but nowadays different dogs are different. I'm not a dog person, should I say? I can see dogs and think, oh my god, that's a lovely dog. Yeah, I can see a dog around you as well. Uh, in the afterlife, it's always around you. It's always following you. And I'll tell you what it does as well. When you're going out on a paranormal hunt, there's another dog that goes with you, and I think it's there to protect you. But we'll wait and see what happens about that. You just get back to us, Rebecca. Anyway, um, there's another question I was going to ask you about. It'll come to me in a minute.
Write it down.
Yeah, yeah. So you've had quite a difficult few years since 2015. Then when you
Yes,
when you
yes. Definitely from I had to
your
think back now.
parents.
That's like so long ago, it seems like. No, yeah, because I was super, super close with my mother. And so once that happened, I like really my world came crumbling down to the point where I just felt super lost because I mean, we would talk close to 6 hours every single day, like all day long. She was aware of everything I was doing. I call her, let her know
Ah,
auditions, everything. Like she just lived alongside of me. So
it sounded as though she were like a sister to you.
yes, she was my sister. We were each other's best friends. I mean, there wasn't anything I didn't do without calling my mother and letting her know, okay, I'm doing this now. I'm going to an audition. I got this. I did this. I'm meeting this. Every little thing was run by my mother. We were so close. So to lose that is like you might as well have cut off all my limbs and I'm just kind of bobbing around. So it took a while. Once she gave that first message through the television, the day after she passed, a song came on through the television. It was a 1940s station because I love that music.
Yeah.
And it said, "Little girl, don't cry." And I stopped everything and I thought, oh my God, if you can just keep this up, I'm going to be okay. If you can just figure out how to communicate with me, we're going to get through this life together. And you didn't leave me, and I feel much better. So she does that all day long. She has figured out we have a good communication system. She uses 1023, which is her birthday, October 23rd. She uses that everywhere on the clock. I'll go to the store, my total is 1023. I'll play a video game, the points are 1023. It's like crazy. She has figured that out, and then we communicate telepathically. So I do hear her talking to me all the time, and we've got that down to a science. So I'm very grateful because I know that that's difficult to do. But we were so close that we continue to be so close in the after, in her afterlife as well.
Rebecca's just got back. she was a baby when she died, so little dresses make sense. I was
Oh,
dressing up in my mom's wedding dress that day. She did
oh,
have brown hair, and I
oh,
was eight. I remember playing out a lot.
oh,
Oh,
oh. See, beautiful validation. That was so nice. Thank you for that. Yeah, you know what? I have
yes,
to just add to Rebecca that I just feel that that even though you didn't get to have the sisterhood, I feel that sisterhood. Like she still regards you as her sister, and she still feels that closeness with you, even though it was very brief.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
So, what you got planned for the future for yourself then?
oh my God, the future.
TV.
What
I've got.
future though?
I'm going to say I've got TV work for you coming
Yes,
up.
well, the future is England needs to bring me to England so I can go on an investigation and come over and do some readings over there. I would love. I've never been to England, but the future. Right now, my autobiography slash paranormal book is at the editor, and
Good.
I did put a release date of September 6th for Amazon, but it looks like it might be sooner than that once she takes the red pen out and I make the corrections. So it's going to be an amazing book. I hope you guys will check it out. It's called I Am V.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, V. And it
Yeah,
just
V.
it talks about my life story, and then from there it goes into all the paranormal events that have happened. So it's really chock full of like really amazing stories, a lot of stuff on the Queen Mary, the one that's in Long Beach docked, not Queen Mary 2. And just really really, if you guys want to learn about the paranormal, there's lots of questions and answers on the back of the book as well about the paranormal and afterlife. It's really going to be juicy.
Sounds interesting. Will that be on Amazon later this year then?
Yes, yes, it will be on Amazon for sure. Um, it may even be there as soon as end of August. So
Oh,
I
right,
know. I've
right.
been writing it for 11 years. I finally finished when I was sick in bed. See, I used that time well, and I figured I'm sick for a month. I'm going to sit and type my book away. So I did.
I know Rebecca's just got back to me. Said, Bob, thank you so much for telling me. Ruby is always with me
Oh,
all the time. Oh, well, thank you for that. Yeah, that's great. Um, where can people find you if they want to read in? Do you do Zoom readings or?
yeah, Zoom or FaceTime. I'm not the biggest fan of Zoom because it always cuts out. But yes, we could do FaceTime, we could do Skype, we could even do Facebook Messenger. So it's hopefully everyone can spell psychic medium Valentina. Sometimes people put physic, but psychic medium Valentina, that's VALENTINA.com. It's very simple. Or you could Google me, psychic medium Valentina in Florida, or find me on Facebook. I'm friends with Bob. So yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. We just have to
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
out the time
Well, that
zone difference there.
yeah, but there might be people in chat room may want a personal reading. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
People might just think, "Oh, I want to read in. I'll get in touch with Valentina."
Yeah.
So, all being well, you'll probably get some in chat room.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yes, absolutely. And then I need to come to England.
Yes, you
Your,
do.
your ghost hunts sound way more fun than over here.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. It must be nice where you live,
Oh, no, you cut out. Wait, what? Start again and cut out.
weather-wise, in Florida.
It's been,
Oh,
well,
sorry. It must be nice weather where you live.
yeah, but I mean, it's 102 today, so I'm not sure how Fahrenheit. So I'm not sure. it's always hot in Florida until about January. Then we have maybe 3 months that's a little cooler. So right now it's hell. Here's hell on earth. It's just so hot. And then we've got the hurricanes till November. So
Oh
it's just
God, yeah.
thunderstorms, lightning, complete wind, trees being knocked over. It's really intense. It's like living in the middle of Wizard of Oz.
Oh God. Yeah, I can imagine. So. Yeah, it must be difficult sometimes. It's all right saying living in a nice hot country, but we don't think about what else can happen with hurricanes. It happens all over America.
Yeah, and sometimes people have, not the best houses. They have the mobile homes. And, when you drive around after a hurricane is hit and the roof is laying on the street, and people's houses are destroyed, it's really sad. But this happens every year from June to November. So, and it's interesting because summer is usually very slow for us because people leave because of the hurricanes. So our summer and our busy season really becomes like January till spring. It's kind of reversed.
Yeah. Yeah,
The heat would
we've
kill.
about nearly run out of time. But it's been so nice talking with you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure people will want you back on again in the future, especially when you get your book out.
Yes, we'll come back and talk about the book for sure.
Yes, that'd be good. Yeah, just let me know when the book is out, and then I'll
will. We're Facebook friends, so I will let you
in.
know. Yes.
August, September or something like that. Let it get out there first, maybe September, October, and then we'll get you back on.
That sounds great. I want to thank everyone for listening in. I'm sorry I couldn't get the chat to work and answer back. And I wanted to say hello in the chat, but I was unable to. But thank you, Rebecca, for all the wonderful, wonderful questions. Yes, absolutely.
Great. It's always nice when you get other questions from the chat room.
Yeah, well, it makes us know that everyone is alive and listening, and
Yes.
It's more interactive. I like that too. I want to always.
I do. I know Rebecca's just a fantastic guest. Thanks to you both. Joanne's just a great show and lovely guest.
Thank you.
There's more of them in chat room as well. Like,
everyone in there.
And these people are in my chat room every week.
Oh,
so it's quite nice.
Awesome.
And they do go to conferences all over the UK. And they go out investigating themselves.
Oh, yeah, I'm jealous.
Rebecca does, Joanne does, Diane does. There's quite a few of them.
Yeah, well, I hope to meet each and every one of you in person one of these years. Sooner rather than later.
One never knows. One never knows.
You never know what can happen. We have to manifest.
Yes, that's so true. Right, just before we go, my guest on Friday is Mark Munsey. He's an author of the paranormal history, horror, science fiction. He spent 3 decades collecting ghost tales and reports of legendary beasts. So he's on Friday, the 2nd of October. 2nd of October, we're talking with you. 2nd of August at 2 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific, and 11 o'clock Pacific, and 7 p.m. in the UK. So this is his Friday. He's a nice guy. He's got lots to tell us. Steph just said great again. Thank you, Bob and guest.
Oh,
so it's always nice when you get replies back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sending healing for everyone. I want to make sure everyone has a wonderful week, and I'm sending healing and just, stay safe and be strong and just keep pushing.
Yes. Thank you for that. I'm going to send you lots of healing and love as well.
Thank you. I will take it.
And you take care. As soon as your book comes out, let me know.
You will hear from me.
And then I'll get you back on the show.
Wonderful.
Talk about that. And I'll send you the recording of the show to you.
Yes, thank you. Wonderful. All right.
Bye.
Okay,
See you later.
bye.
Bye. See you later. Thank you. Lovely. Leave studio. Oh, I know why I fucking entered it ever.